Oh, Captain, my Captain. Does anybody know where that's from? It's a famous poem written by Walt Whitman, but it's also another famous quote taken from the movie Dead Poets Society. Hello everyone, my name is Jose David Melendez, and I'll be giving you today an informative speech about the movie Dead Poets Society, based on its overall plot, its lessons, and its conclusion. Released in 1989, Dead Poets Society stars Robin Williams. Robin Williams, he plays the role of Mr. Keating, a young and new English teacher at Walton Academy. Here at Walton Academy, he is taught to teach these students by the book, to get them prepped for college, and to let them succeed on their own. He has different plans. Mr. Keating doesn't believe in teaching by the book. He teaches his own way. He wants students to learn how to express themselves, not by a book, but by who they are. We have three main characters in this movie: Mr. Todd Anderson, Mr. Neil Perry, and Headmaster Mr. Nolan. The plot revolves around Mr. Keating's unorthodox way of teaching. He teaches in a way that lets students express themselves, to let them roam free, to let their imagination roam free, just to roam. So his teachings, it inspired his students. They all started off with their own little problems here and there, but as time progressed, Mr. Keating's influence really did give a number on these students. For example, Mr. Keating belonged to a club known as the Dead Poets Society. It is through this club that these students, along with Todd Anderson, Neil Perry, and their friends, they sought to revive this club. So, every night, usually occasionally at around 12 o'clock midnight, they would sneak off into the woods. Sneak off, and they would go into this underground cavern. In this cavern, they reawoke the Dead Poets Society. They spoke great deals of poetry. They spoke art. They spoke expression. They spoke passion. What they did was they revived themselves. They created a new person. They created new people, and through this method, they created new individuals. They really did follow what Mr. Keating taught. For example, Neil Perry, one of our main characters, he was always compelled by his own father. He really didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He just followed what his father told him to do. But instead, he decided to take up his passion, acting. He took up his passion, led the play in an act he had to perform, and then he had the main role. Unfortunately, his father still disapproved. So after opening night, his father, wondering what happened to him, disappointed in his own son, he couldn't take it anymore. Neil Perry committed suicide. What had happened then was that because Mr. Keating had such an influence on these boys, Headmaster Mr. Nolan began to wonder, why did this happen? Why did one of our finest students commit suicide when a new teacher came in? The blame was really Father Perry's influence on his own son, but they decided to put the blame on Mr. Keating. Because of his unorthodox method of teaching, they thought because of his influence, that led to the downfall of Neil Perry. So what did this do? This created controversy. It created controversy to the fact that they had to lead an investigation to discover the fact that they believed that it was Mr. Keating that led to the death of Neil Perry. So what did this do? This caused outrage within the student body. Students were upset that their beloved teacher was in all this controversy, and they just felt a great sad and loss to see that one of their finest teachers was released. But really, what did Mr. Keating accomplish? He really did install his method of teaching into these students. He taught them to become individuals. Not necessarily just simple individuals, but real people. He told them to seize the day, carpe diem. Seize the moment, break the limits that are given in life, and just become who you want to be. Break those limits, seize the moment, and just take off with what you want to do in life. And that's what these boys did. Because of this great poet society, they became people. They saw passion, and they became great. It is through these teachings that Mr. Keating accomplished what he wanted to do. And in this day and forth, we really need to be able to break these limits that are set forward, to not follow the status quo that people put against us, to not follow what society wants us to do, but to follow what we want to do. It is through this that we can truly become great individuals. He also taught the lesson of using language and using every resource you have possible. Because with language, we can communicate so many different things. Language, it's not just words, it's an art. It's an art form. We have to be careful with our language, and we have to be able to express ourselves with the finest words given to us. In the conclusion of this movie, Mr. Keating returns to his desk. He returns to his study room where he finds his students with Headmaster Nolan as a new English teacher. All he came for was to get his things and leave. Mr. Nolan was outraged by the fact that he was facing the convicted murderer of Mr. Neil Perry. Outraged with this, he told him to leave. But Mr. Keating refused. Mr. Keating just wanted his things and he would go by. We then have the shy, timid Todd Anderson. Through the teachings of Mr. Keating was changed. He became a more bold person. And this was displayed in this scene. In the final scene, Todd Anderson was enraged at the fact that his beloved teacher was leaving. And so, he took it upon himself. He, with one dashing bold, he stood up on the desk, and he bravely said, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." With this, the rest of his students followed. They all paid tribute to Mr. Keating, or as I can say, the great Robin Williams. In the zenith of his career, Mr. Robin Williams, he accomplished many things. Back in history, those students, they paid respect to Mr. Robin Williams. But today, I pay respect to Robin Williams in the sense that he was a great actor, a great man, and a great face for the movie industry. Thank you.